Hey, what's up everyone? Ben at ProFixer, and today on the channel we have a MacBook Pro that needs a new battery. I'm going to take you through all the steps that I go through in order to remove the old battery, to reinstall the new battery, and make sure it's done efficiently, safely, and cleanly as it should. Everything on my workbench, including the replacement battery, is linked up in the description below. So be sure to check that out, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and please comment below what you'd like to see in future videos. But without further ado, let's open this MacBook and replace the battery. Here in front of me on the workbench, I have a MacBook Pro that needs a new battery. For a lot of repair shops, most just do phones and tablets, but PCs and Macs are very easily able to be done as well. Whether you are just a regular user or if you are a shop owner, this video will walk you through every single step that you need to take in order to replace the battery on a MacBook such as this one. This particular MacBook is a MacBook Pro 13-inch. It's a few years old and is the A1322 model. Removing the battery is extremely easy. Just go ahead and flip it over and you'll notice that there's a bunch of Phillips screws on the bottom that you can remove with your standard Phillips screwdriver. The screwdriver that I like to use is a 000 Weehai. You can use a 00, but that is about the largest that you want to use on these. Go ahead and remove the screws and go and place them off to the side. Nearly every single one of these is just about the same screw, but keep them in the right order. That way you don't mix any of them up. Now that we have all the screws removed from the back plate, it's very easy to lift this one up. Some other MacBook models, like the MacBook Air that comes from about the same era, they do have a button in the middle that makes it very difficult to lift up the back. It almost kind of pry it up and then they kind of pop out. This one doesn't have anything like that. It almost just falls directly off. So lift it from the back side where the fans are and just lift up and flip it over and set it off to the side. This particular MacBook, we did upgrade it a couple years ago. This is actually a family member's and they brought it in and we installed a solid state drive into it from OWC, which is absolutely awesome. And then we put their old drive into the optical disk drive spot. This gets them backup space on the device itself, but then also the speed of an SSD. And we did put in some new OWC RAM. The first thing that you want to do once you're inside of the MacBook just like this is go ahead and unplug the battery. The battery is very easy to unplug. I do recommend just using your fingernail. Don't use any kind of tools or anything like that, but you can just grab the back side of this battery and lift it up. But you'll just lift under the edge there and just lift it straight up. So there we go, the battery is completely disconnected. Now we need to go ahead and take a tri-wing screwdriver and remove the screws that are here. If you have one of the Injured Gadgets kits, it does come with a tri-wing screwdriver. As well, if you did purchase this from Injured Gadgets, it does come with some screwdrivers here as well, like a Phillips and then also a tri-wing. I'm not going to be using the ones from the kit just because they're kind of a cheaper tool set, but I will be using the ones from the actual Injured Gadgets set here, which are a bit nicer. So pulling out the tri-wing, we can go ahead and get the number 1 size, and we'll be able to remove these 2 screws. Just like a regular screw, it's just turn it to the left, it comes out like normal despite having the Y top on it. So there we go. This one is a little bit shorter than this one over here. And I don't believe there's any other screws underneath here. If we look, nope, nothing else. So what we'll do is we can lift the battery out now. One thing to note with these is it does have 2 screws on this side. However, the other side is held in just by wedging it in place. So by lifting up the battery, it will lift towards the outside of the housing itself, allowing you to remove it. So you can pull up on the tab here, and once it's up to this point, you'll kind of feel it, wedge in, and then just slide it to you and lift the battery out. This particular one is old, so definitely make sure that you recycle that in a proper manner. Now that we have the old battery out, let's go and put the new battery in. Just opening up this little kit, it comes in a little cellophane package here. It is a battery that I picked up from Injured Gadgets. They have quite a bit of MacBook selection as well as game consoles and things like that you wouldn't necessarily expect because it's not as common, but they have a great selection. I recommend going to their website. I've linked up this particular battery in the description below so you can pick this up as well. You can browse their site for other compatible batteries for your individual MacBook if you do have a different model than the one we're doing here. What you'll do is to install this, you'll do the same thing that you did while removing it, is just go ahead and insert the bottom first. That way it can wedge underneath these screw holes and then just lower the battery in. Go ahead and plug it in as well. That way we get that plugged in, and you always want to make sure that when you're plugging these in that you plug them directly down into the device. Don't twist them when you get in there. You may bend the pins, which is never a good thing. So now let's go ahead and put the 2 screws back in the top here. With that one in, now we should be able to put in our other screw itself, which let's go ahead and line this one up, and we will insert this one down into the hole itself. All right, perfect. And that one is all screwed in there as well. And so now what we can do is we do want to go ahead and replace our back cover. If you do notice that it is a bit dusty or anything like that, which this one is absolutely immaculate, even the fan itself is not even dirty, you could go ahead and blow it out, which the way I do recommend that is hold the fan still and blow all around the fan itself, and then you can blow on this back side here. And you can let go of the fan and then re-hold it. That way it doesn't just spin at incredibly high RPMs. It doesn't necessarily hurt them by spinning them, but it's just not a good practice, and it's always best to hold them whenever you can. Just going to insert the back cover on here. And always just line it up on this edge first. That's kind of how I do that. And then just drop the back in. Very easy to do. And then you're going to go and put your screws back in. Do note that these 3 screws over on this side, they are the long screws. So put those in first or last or however you want. Just make sure you put in the right spot. And then put all the rest of your screws in there as well. And one thing to note as I put this last screw in there, all of these screws, they don't go directly down into the housing. I've seen repair techs attempt to screw them down and then cross thread them. It seems pretty simple, but being that it's on the beveled edge, you do want to put the screw in at an angle. The only ones that are kind of up and down are these up here at the top, but these even do have a little bit of an angle that is not perpendicular to the top. So there we go. Got all these screwed in. Go ahead and check them real quick and make sure that you do have all the rest of them tightened up. And using the right size screwdriver will definitely pay off, because if it's too big, you're going to be stripping these screws out and kind of walling out the little heads on there, which does look ugly, even though the screw may be inserted all the way. So go ahead and flip your MacBook over. Just go ahead and open it up, and let's go ahead and power it on. There we go, and then we want to check our charging to make sure that everything's charging and everything's back in there like normal. A really cool utility that you can use in order to test a battery is going to be Coconut Battery. Coconut Battery is a free utility that you can download to your Mac, which will allow you to test the internal battery of your Mac itself, and as well anything that's connected. So you can test your iPad battery or your iPhone battery and see how many charge cycles as well as the health that it shows on the particular battery. So this one here, we're looking at 67% charge on it right now, and then we plug it in and it shows that it's charging. So in this particular case, it's a very easy repair in order to remove the battery and reinstall the new one efficiently, cleanly, and as it should. Like I mentioned before, everything on my workbench is linked up in the description below. I want to thank everyone that's still watching this video, and if you liked it, go and hit the like button and also subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And as well, turn on the notification bell so you hear about our content the second that it hits YouTube. And please comment below what you'd like to see in future videos here on the Pro Fixer channel. Once again, my name is Ben Rosso, and I'll see you on the next video.